Hello everyone, this video is from Preeti Academy International School for Standard 7th Subject Science. In this video, we are going to learn about silk. Silk is a fine, strong, soft and shining fiber obtained from silkworm. A silkworm is an insect from where we obtain the fiber of silk. It is fine, strong, soft and shining fiber. It is separated from the cocoons of silkworms. It is being separated from the cocoons of silkworm. It is made up of protein and is strongest natural fiber. Silk is the strongest natural fiber. Silk is costly fiber because it is naturally shining in appearance. But silk is little costlier than any other natural fiber because it has a natural property of shining. Silk fibers are converted into silk yarn, which is used for making a silk cloth. This silk cloth is then used for making saris and other dresses. First, the silk obtained from the cocoon is being converted into the silk yarn. Then, these silk yarns are used for making saris and other dresses. The rearing of silkworm for obtaining the silk is called sericulture. The rearing of silkworm for obtaining the silk is called sericulture. China leads the world in silk production. The country of largest production of silkworm is China. Other silk producing countries are India and Japan. We are also not bad. We also produce a good quantity of silk. Before we discuss the process of obtaining the silk, let us study the life cycle of silk moth. First, we are going to study the life cycle of silk moth. Then we will study how the silk is being obtained from the silk from cocoons. First, life cycle of silk moth. The female silk moth lay pale yellow eggs on the leaf of tree such as mulberry tree. The female silk moth lay yellow eggs. First, the female silk moth used to lay yellow eggs, especially on mulberry tree. The eggs hatch in 2 weeks time to form a womb-like larva called capillary or silkworms. Beta egg used to hatch in 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks to hatch. From that, the larva called capillaries or silkworms comes out. The silkworm feed on the leaves of mulberry tree and grow bigger in size. The silkworm comes from the eggs is used to eat the mulberry tree and its size is being enlarged. It shows the growth. During the larva stage, the silk sheds their skin 4 times while they grow. Silk is secreted from the gland present in the silkworm's head in the liquid form. First of all, the silk is being secreted by the gland which is present in the silkworm's head in the liquid form. Now, the silkworm is ready to enter in the next stage of its development called pupa. Now the silkworm is ready to enter in the next stage called a pupa. See here. This is the first 3 stages. First, the eggs of silk moth on the mulberry leaves. They are very small eggs. It takes 2 weeks to hatch. Second, larva, caterpillar or silkworm feeds on mulberry leaves. It's enter into the next stage called as pupa. Okay. Each silkworm begins spinning a cocoon by moving its head in the same pattern as that of number 8. It moves her head in the shape of 8. During this movement of head, the silkworm secretes silk in the liquid form through the tiny opening in its head But a silkworm has a tiny opening on its head from where the silk in the form of liquid is being secreted. Through the tiny opening of its head, the liquid silk solidifies on contact with the air and becomes silk fiber within 2 to 3 days. After this liquid silk comes in contact with the air, it becomes silk fiber within 2 to 3 days. The silkworm covers itself completely with the silk fiber. The silkworm used to cover itself completely with the silk fiber. The silky covering spins up the silkworm for the protection called cocoon. The silky covering spins by the silkworm. जो silkworm ने बेटा अपने आप को कवरिंग की है, किसके लिए कवरिंग की है? For the protection called cocoon. The cocoon is made up of silkworm to protect its development as a pupa. It used to protect silkworm to protect its development as a pupa. When pupa enclosed in a cocoon develops completely to form an adult silk moth, then the cocoon splits up and a beautiful silk moth comes out. When the development full completes, it becomes an adult silk moth, and then the cocoon splits into a beautiful silk moth comes out. An adult silk moth lives only for few days. The adult silk moth lives for only few days. These are the various stages. We have seen first stage, the eggs of silk moth on the mulberry leaves. Second is larva, caterpillar or silkworm. The third is stage pupa. Next is cocoon development. This is a cocoon development. Then silk moth emerges out from cocoon. From the cocoon, the silk moth comes out and finally becomes an adult silk moth. Finally, it becomes the adult silk moth. So here we have completed our life cycle of silk moth. Thank you everyone.